Okay, so what is given in this example? Division A transfers goods to Division B. Division A incurs marginal cost of rupees 10 per unit, and Division B incurs marginal cost of rupees 5 per unit to process it further. Division B sells the finished product externally at rupees 20 per unit. To promote goal congruence, what should be the minimum transfer price that Division A should charge? Assume there is no external market for this intermediate product. If Division B can buy the intermediate part externally for rupees 14 per unit or rupees 18 per unit, what should be the maximum transfer price that Division A can charge to remain competitive in the external vendor? Assume that intermediate goods of Division A can be sold externally at rupees 12 per unit. How does opportunity cost affect the transfer price range when Division B can procure the part externally at 14 per unit? Yes, it's a small question, but you have to apply the principles which we have seen earlier. Okay, now how to do it? Okay, Division A transfers Division A transfers goods to Division B. So Division A is the selling division and Division B is the buying division. Okay, right. Now Division A incurs a marginal cost of rupees 10. So marginal cost rupees 10 per unit, and Division B incurs a marginal cost of rupees 5. Marginal cost is equal to rupees 5 per unit, and the final selling price is 20 per unit. Okay, this is the information. Now what should be the, to promote goal congruence, what should be the minimum transfer price that Division A should charge? Assume there is no external market for this intermediate product. Okay, since there is no market for the intermediate product, what does it mean? There is no opportunity cost. Okay, so you can write 1, no market for intermediate product, therefore there is no opportunity cost. Therefore the minimum transfer price to be received by Division A, that is selling division, what is it? That is equal to marginal cost of manufacture, that is equal to rupees 10 per unit. Okay, so in order to promote the goal congruence, Division A should get at least rupees 10 per unit. That is the minimum. Okay, now maximum will be computed from the perspective of the buying division. Now next, if Division B can buy the intermediate part externally for rupees 14 per unit and rupees 18 per unit, what should be the maximum price that Division A can charge to remain competitive with the external vendor? Okay, so calculation of maximum TP. Maximum transfer price from the perspective of the division B, that is buying division. Okay, how do you compute this? Okay, see here it should be lower of 1 net marginal revenue. Okay, what is net marginal revenue? Net marginal revenue is the difference between selling price per unit of final product minus incremental cost incurred by which division? Buying division. Okay, this component or part is received by the buying division and they are incurring certain cost for the purpose of converting into final product, and that final product is sold at a particular selling price. So that selling price is taken here, that is 20 per unit, minus what is the incremental cost incurred by the buying division. In this case they say that it is rupees 5 per unit. So this is equal to rupees 15 per unit. So this is the capacity that division B can pay, the maximum capacity that division B can pay to division A. So it is the maximum capacity to pay. Is it clear? So this is 1. Now there is 2. Second thing. What is second thing? If the same product, the product purchased by the buying division can be procured from the external market, then that rate will also be should be considered for the purpose of determining the maximum price. If division B can purchase the same product at rupees 14 per unit from the market, then why should they pay 15 rupees here? Is it clear? Okay, so to lower of 1 NMR, then 2 will be what? The external or the purchase price of the component in the external market minus any cost saved due to internal transfer. Okay, plus any additional cost incurred for internal transfer. Okay, so here this will be purchase price of the component in the external market. In the first case it is rupees 14 per unit. Am I right? And there is no cost saved on account of internal transfer. That information is not there. There is no additional cost for the internal transfer. So it will be 14 per unit. So whichever is lower out of this 15 and 14, which is lower? 14 is lower. So that will become the maximum price. Therefore, maximum transfer price is equal to rupees 14 per unit. This is the first scenario. Then there is one more scenario. What if the selling price is 18 per unit or the purchase price is 18 per unit? Okay, so the formula is, this is 1, then 2, lower of 1, NMR. NMR we have already computed, net marginal revenue, that is 15 per unit. and 2 the purchase price in the external market. Purchase price in the external market. This is how much? Rupees 18. So whichever is lower. Here, if they are going to purchase it from the external market, they have to pay 18 per unit. But the problem is, their maximum amount that they can afford to pay is only rupees 15. Therefore, maximum transfer price is equal to rupees 15 per unit. Is it clear? Yes. And next, assuming that the intermediate goods of division A can be sold externally at rupees 12, how does opportunity cost affect the transfer price range when division B can procure the part externally at rupees 14 per unit? Yes. So opportunity cost do exist. Third one, no spare capacity. Okay, why no spare capacity? Because whatever product the manufacturing, the selling division produce, they can sell it in the external market. Okay, which means what? If you want to do the internal transfer, you will have to curtail the external sales. Is it clear? So no spare capacity. So minimum TP is equal to relevant cost of internal transfer. Okay, that is equal to marginal cost of production plus opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. What is this opportunity cost? Contribution foregone from the external sales. And marginal cost of production is rupees 10 per unit plus what is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is, they say that it can be sold externally at rupees 12. So the contribution foregone will be rupees 12 minus rupees 10 per unit, that is equal to rupees 10 per unit plus rupees 2 per unit, that is equal to rupees 12 per unit. Okay. Rupees 12 per unit. Is it clear? Then maximum TP. How to find out the maximum TP? They are saying that when division B can procure the part externally at rupees 14 per unit. So when it is rupees 14 per unit, what was the maximum TP? Maximum TP was 14 per unit itself. So maximum TP equal to rupees 14 per unit. Therefore, range of transfer price is equal to rupees 12 per unit minus rupees 14 per unit. 12 per unit minus rupees 14 per unit. Is it clear? Yes. So that is the question given. Now going further, we have one more example in page number 9.16. 9.16. Take question number page number 9.16 example. Okay, so what's given in the question? Example, a company has a division A producing three products called X, Y, and Z. Each product can be sold in the open market in the following manner. Maximum external sales. Maximum sales external sales are X 800 units, Y 500 units, Z how much units? 300 units. All figures are given in rupees. Now particulars. The selling price per unit is given 96, 92, 80. Then you have the variable cost of production in division A. Then labor hours required per unit in division A, that is available, that is given. Product Y can be transferred to division B, but maximum quantity that might be required for transfer is 300 units of Y. Okay, division B could buy similar product in the open market at a rate of rupees 14 per unit. Now what should be the transfer price per unit for 300 units of Y if the total labor hours available with the division are 13,000, that is A, then 8,000, that is B, and 12,000, that is C. Indicate the transfer price range that can promote goal congruence. So it is a question of divisional transfer pricing plus limiting factor analysis. We have seen limiting factor analysis or key factor analysis in chapter 6, decision making. So those principles have to be coupled with the principles of divisional transfer price to solve this particular question. Okay, so divisional transfer price plus limiting factor analysis. Limiting factor analysis. Okay, now what is the question given? There is one division A. This division A is producing three products X, Y, and Z. You have the demand, the external demand is given for these three products, that is 800 units, and then you have 500 units, then you have 300 units. This is the external demand. Okay, then selling price, variable cost, labor hours required, all those details are given with respect to these three products in division A. Okay, now there is another division, division B. And what does this division B do? Division B requires product Y, product Y, internal transfer, internal transfer. So what is the maximum requirement? Maximum requirement for Y is equal to, it's only 300 units. 300 units. Now they also say that this Y, product Y can be sold, can be purchased from external market. So purchase price of Y in the external market, that is given to be rupees 45 per unit. Okay, it can be purchased at rupees 45. Now what do you have to do? You have to find out the transfer price for 300 units. Determine the transfer price for 300 units and assuming the total labor hours available are how much? 13,000, 8,000 and 12,000. Now this labor hours, it is required in which division? It is required in division A. It is given in labor hours required per unit in division A. Am I right? So first you have to find out what is the total requirement of this labor hours to see whether it is a limiting factor. Okay, so you have to see the working note number 1, identification of limiting factor. Identification of limiting factor. Okay, you have three products X, Y, Z. Okay, so you can write external demand. External demand is 800 units. 800, then you have 500, and then you have 300. Then internal demand. Internal demand Y, how many units? It is 300. So total will be 800, 800 and 300. Now what else? Number of labor hours per unit. What is number of labor hours per unit? It is for each unit of X you require 6 labor hours. For each unit of Y you require 8, and for Z you require 4. So number of labor hours required for maximum production. How much is it? 800 into 6 will be 4800. Then 800 into 8 will be 6400. Then 300 into 4 will be 1200. So what will be the total? 4800 plus 6400 plus 1200. 12400 hours. Okay, so what you can conclude, in order to manufacture the maximum production of all the products at division A. Is it division A? Yes, division A. The division requires 12,400 hours of labor. Hence, if the available labor hours is less than 12,400 hours, then it acts as a limiting factor. Is it clear? It acts as a limiting factor. So now we will come to the answers. Okay, so question 1. What is 1? The transfer price per unit of 300 units of Y if total labor hours available with division A are. Okay, transfer price when available labor hours is equal to 13,000 hours. Okay, so since the available labor hours is 13,000 hours, is it a limiting factor? What is the maximum requirement? Maximum requirement is only 12,400. So it is not a limiting factor. So you can write labor hours is not a limiting factor. Is not a limiting factor. Is it clear? It is not a limiting factor. Therefore, the minimum transfer price of product Y will be what? Marginal cost or relevant cost of production or variable cost of production, whichever terminology you use, that's fine. And that is equal to variable cost of production. See, since there is no limiting factor, there is no opportunity cost because labor hours are plenty. So what you can do, you can produce the required quantities of all the X, Y and Z for the external market as well as for the internal market. So as far as the 300 units that are produced for internal transfer is concerned, the only additional cost that division A incurs for the production is what? The variable cost. Okay, so and that variable cost is rupees 24 per unit. Therefore what you have to do, this 24 per unit is the minimum transfer price that division A should receive upon selling 1 unit of product Y to the other division, that is division B. Is it clear? Okay, so that is 24 per unit. Now maximum transfer price of product Y, and maximum transfer price should be computed from the perspective of the buying division, that is here it is division B. That is equal to, since this product Y can be procured from the open market at a rate of rupees 45 per unit, maximum rate will be that 45 only, because if it is available at 45, then division B is not going to buy at 50 from division A. Is it clear? So maximum TP is equal to purchase price of product Y from the external market, that is equal to rupees 45 per unit. Rupees 45 per unit. Therefore range of TP is equal to rupees 24 to rupees 45 per unit. Okay, rupees 24 to 45 per unit. Is it clear? Right. Now that is case 1. Now case 2. What is case 2? Case 2, they say that maximum labor hours available. Maximum labor hours available is equal to 8,000 hours. Okay, so what happens? Maximum labor hours required is equal to 12,400 hours. So what is your conclusion? Therefore the labor hours do act as a limiting factor. So if it acts as a limiting factor, what is the issue or what is the problem with that? Thus any transfer to division B can be done only by curtailing what? External production. Okay, so whenever there is external limiting factor, the entity will not be able to make maximum production. It will be keep going with this optimum product mix, which we have learned in decision making. Okay, so if you have a optimum product mix and you have to produce some other goods for internal transfer, then you have to compromise on the optimum product mix. Okay, if you have an optimum product mix for X, Y and Z, you have to compromise on that optimum product mix. You have to divert certain production in the optimum production mix, which should be used for what? The internal transfer. So now here what you need to keep in mind is, I will give you an example. We will first find out what is the optimum product mix here in this case. Then I will explain you how to find out the transfer price, okay, or the opportunity cost. Okay, so any transfer can be done only by curtailing external production. This will result in loss of contribution and thus opportunity cost. Okay, now what I am doing here is I am computing the computation of optimum product mix. Okay, when if internal demand was not there. That means if internal demand was not there, how much quantities of this X, Y and Z they would have produced. That is what we are going to compute here. Okay, how to compute that? You have to do the ranking. Am I right? Yes. So one statement of ranking. You have product X, Y, then Z. Okay, selling price per unit. What is selling price per unit? 96, 96, then 92, then you have 80. That is what is given, right? Then less variable cost of manufacture, variable cost of production. Okay, what is that? 33, then 24, 28, 24 and 28. Okay, so contribution per unit will be what is contribution per unit? Contribution per unit is 63, 68 and 52. Okay, then what you have to do, since there is a limiting factor, the ranking should not be based on contribution per unit, but it should be based on the contribution per unit of the limiting factor. And what is the limiting factor here? Labor hours. So you have to find out the contribution per hour of the labor hours. Okay, so for that, number of labor hours required per unit. Number of labor hours required per unit will be 6, then 8, then 4. And contribution per labor hour. Okay, 63 divided by 6 will be 10.5. Then 68 divided by 8 will be 8.5. Then 52 divided by 4 will be 13. So what about the ranking? The rank will be first rank here, then second rank and third rank. First, second and third. Okay, so what do you have to do? First you have to produce maximum quantities of production plan. Maximum. Second rank also you will produce maximum, and here balance. Okay, so now you have to find out the optimum production mix. Optimum product mix. Okay, optimum product mix. You have to make a statement. Okay, how to make the statement? Rank, then product, then quantity in units, then labor hours per unit, then total labor hours, then balance hours available. Okay, rank 1, which is the product having rank 1, product Z. What is the maximum quantity that you can produce in respect of rank 1 product Z? That is 300. So maximum is 300. 300 you have to produce. And for each unit, how many hours is required? 4. So you will consume how much? 1200. So balance how much? Total available is how much? 8000. So 8000 minus 1200, that will be 6800. Second rank product goes to X. What is the maximum requirement? 800. Maximum requirement is 800. So labor hours per unit is 6. Okay, so how many labor hours is required? 8000 into 4 will be 800 into 6 will be 4800. So here balance is 6800 minus 4800, that is equal to 2000. Okay, now third one is Y. How many units are required? How many units are required means maximum demand is 500 external. Okay, and for each product you require 8. So 500 into 8 will be how much? 4000. But do you have 2000 4000 hours? No, you have only 2000. So using this 2000, how much you can produce? That is the amount. So here it should be nil. Total hours available is 200, and for each unit he require 8. So 2000 divided by 8 will be 250. Balance. Is it clear? So if there was no internal demand, the entity would have produced 800 units, 250 units and 300 units of X, Y and Z respectively. X, Y and Z respectively. That is what they would have produced. Now what do you have to do? Since there is internal requirement, internal requirement. What is the internal requirement? You require 300 units of Y. Okay, labor hours required. How much? 300 into, for each unit you require 8. So 300 into 8 will be 2400 hours. Okay, so if you satisfy the internal demand, then what you have to do? You require 2400 hours, and that 2400 additional hours have to be taken from the existing production. Now let me ask you, from where do you take this 2400 hours? You will take it by curtailing the existing production. Now when you curtail the existing production, which all products production will be affected? Or will you curtail the production of Z? No. Why you want curtail the production of Z? Because that is the highest ranked product. Okay, that is the highest ranked product. So that if you curtail the production of that Z, then you are losing high contribution. So you won't touch that. Then what you will do? You will go to the lowest ranked product, and you take that lowest ranked product first. Okay, whatever contribution that lowest rank product was giving, that it would be the lowest contribution yielded among these products, and that will be lost. So you take the lowest rank product and take maximum out of it. Then if still more if you require, then you go to next highest rank. So from third rank you will go to second rank, and after exhausting the entire quantity of second ranked product only, you will touch what? The first rank. Is it clear? So you can write a note. Okay. The above labor hours can be diverted only from the existing production. Existing production. Okay. Now the management will divert the required hours from the lowest ranked product first, followed by next lowest ranked product, and so on. Okay, therefore in the present situation, the required labor hours will be diverted from where do you divert this? In the case of which is the lowest ranked product in this case is what? Y. So you have to take it. How many hours is allocated to Y? 2000. Okay, so how much you require for this internal production? 2400. So what will you do? You will take entire 2000. Okay, so diverted from product Y. How much you divert? 2000 hours. Okay, so that is equivalent to how many units? 250 units. So you can write hours diverted, so production lost, then followed by product X. How much hours to be diverted? 400 hours, because total you require how much? 2400 hours. So here you are diverting 400, and how many units have to be done? It is 6 hours is required, so 400 divided by 6, it will be 67 units. 67 into number of hours is 6402. Okay, so you are losing 67 units. Therefore, so what you have to do here? You have to determine the minimum and maximum transfer price. Therefore, minimum transfer price is equal to variable cost of manufacture plus opportunity cost, that is contribution foregone from external sales lost. And what is variable cost of manufacture? Variable cost of manufacture of product Y is variable cost of manufacture of product Y is 24. So 300 units into rupees 24 per unit plus contribution foregone from external sales. You have two products. One is Y itself. So Y, how many units has been lost? 250 units has been lost. And what is the contribution foregone on each unit of Y? That is 68 plus product X, how many units you have lost? 67 units into what is the contribution per unit? Contribution per unit in case of X is 63. It is 63. Okay, so that will take you to 3000 into 24 rupees 72,000 plus this will be 250 into 68, that is 17,000 plus 67 into 63 will be rupees 4,221. That will give you 72,000 plus 17,000 plus 4,221. That will be rupees 93,221. Okay, therefore transfer price per unit, how many units to be transferred? 300 units. So 93,221 divided by 300 will be, did I make any mistake here? Ninety-three 221 divided by 300. Okay, here it is not 72,000, 7,200. I made a mistake. It will be 7,200. Okay, 7,200 plus 17,000 plus 4,221. It will be, total will be, okay, 28,421. So total transfer price per unit will be 28,421 divided by 300 will be rupees 94.73. 94.73 per unit. Is it clear? 94.73. Okay, therefore minimum transfer price is 94.73. And what is the maximum transfer price? Maximum transfer price is 45. Okay, so what does it mean? What does it mean? If this is the scenario, then under no circumstances division B will purchase the product from division A, because division A, if they are selling these goods, they can sell it only at a price of 94 per unit, whereas if division B requires this product, they can purchase this product at what rate? At rupees 45 per unit from the external market. So here minimum transfer price required for division A is rupees 94.73 per unit, whereas maximum TP that division B can pay is equal to rupees 45 per unit. Therefore under no circumstances neither division A or B will resort to division A or B will resort to what? Resort to the internal transfer. Why is it so? If division A sell the product to division B, it will get only a maximum TP of rupees 45 per unit. Okay. On the other hand, if it is sold in the external market, they will earn more revenue. Okay. Therefore it is better for division A to sell the product externally than the internal transfer. It is better for division A to sell the product externally than the internal transfer. Is it clear? Okay. Now this is case 2. Now one more case you have, that is case 3. What is case 3? They say that when the hours available is 12,000 hours. Okay. So you will have to go ahead. So hours available is equal to 12,000 hours. Okay. So first we have to find out what? The optimum product mix. Optimum product mix if internal transfer is not resorted. How to do that? If external sales is only done, that means if internal transfer is not resorted, you will have to see how many hours is required. Okay. If internal transfer is not done, how many hours of labor hours is required for meeting the external sales? Okay. How can you do that? If you can find out the optimum by computing the optimum product mix. Okay. We will compute the optimum product mix now. Rank product, then what else? Rank product, then quantity labor hours per unit, then total labor hours, and balance hours. Rank 1 goes to which product? It is Z. Z, how much total quantity to be produced? Z 300. And how many labor hours is required? 4 per unit. Okay. So total required is 1200. Balance 12,000 minus 1200, that is 10,800. Am I right? Then second rank product is X, maximum 800 quantity and 6 per unit. So here it will be 4,800. So 10,800 minus 4,800 will be how much? 6,000. Okay. Then third rank product is Y. How much? Maximum demand is 500, and for each you require 8 per unit. How much you require? 4,000 only. Balance will be 6,000 minus 4,000, that is equal to 2,000. Which means if 12,000 labor hours are available, then after satisfying the external demand, you have how many labor hours left over? 2,000 labor hours required left over. Okay. So you can write thus, if 12,000 labor hours are available, then it can produce how many units of X? 800 units, 500 units and 300 units of X, Y and Z respectively. Also balance 2000 hours will be available. Okay, so there is some spare capacity, but spare capacity is how much labor hours is available? Only 2000 hours. Now actually how much labor hours is required? You require 2400. Okay, total labor hours required for internal transfer, you require 300 units into 8 per unit, so 2400 hours is required, less spare labor hours available. What is the spare hours available? 2000 hours. Therefore number of labor hours to be diverted from existing production is equal to how much? Only 400 hours should be diverted from the existing production, because you require total 2400 hours, out of which 2000 hours is already available as spare hours. So balance 400 hours, from where do you divert it? You divert from the lowest rank product, that is product Y. Okay, number of units of Y to be diverted, how much? 400 hours is what we require, and 400 hours will be equivalent to 8 hours per unit is the number of hours required per unit. So 8 so 400 divided by 8 will be 50 units. So 50 units of Y will be diverted from the external sales for meeting the internal demand. Therefore contribution lost from 50 units is equal to, what is the contribution per unit of X, Y? Contribution per unit of Y is computed here as 68. So 50 into 68. 50 into 68 will be 3400 rupees. 3400. Therefore opportunity cost, total opportunity cost will be is equal to rupees 3400 for how many units? For 300 units internally transferred. Okay, therefore minimum transfer price required for division A is equal to variable cost plus opportunity cost. What is variable cost? Variable cost is rupees 24 per unit into 300 plus rupees 3400, that is equal to 24 into 300, 7200 rupees. 7200 plus rupees 3400, that is equal to 3004. 7200 plus 3400, that is 10600. 10600. Okay, so minimum transfer price per unit is equal to rupees 10,600 divided by 300 units, that is equal to 10,000 rupees 35.33 per unit. Okay, and what about maximum transfer price that division B can pay is equal to rupees 45 per unit. Therefore, the range of transfer price should be rupees 35.33 per unit to rupees 45 per unit. Is it clear? Okay, so this is the range of transfer price. Now indicate the transfer pricing range that can promote goal congruence. This is something which we have we have explained at each level with each sub question. Okay, here the range of transfer price will be 35.33 to 45 per unit, and the previous case we came to a conclusion that it is not feasible to do an internal transfer, and the first case also we have written the range as 24 to 45. Okay, so that's with this question. This is one type of question which you can expect from this particular chapter, divisional transfer pricing, so you can mark it as an important question also. Okay, now we will 10:40, so we will break for 15 minutes and after that we will continue. Okay.